Hi, and welcome to the August 2023 installment of LouElla's Wine Explorers Club. My name is Noel Scher. I am the Retail and E-commerce Manager at LouElla, and thank you very much for being part of the club. If you're new to the club, welcome aboard. If you've been with us for a bit, thank you very much for continuing to join us on this vinous adventure. It is the dog days of summer, and you may actually see or hear a dog in frame during these videos because I'm filming from home this month. But this month, the focus is on refreshment because it is so hot. So I've selected wines for you that I think are perfect for summertime. The first wine we're going to start with is one that I've been sort of obsessed with for years, this estate. This is Comte Abitucci, 2022 Vin de France Blanc Cuvée Faustine. This is a white wine from Corsica. As I was saying, this is an estate that I've been really interested in for many years, but it's really hard to get the wines because so little of it is imported into the United States every year. But whenever a little bit appears in stock with the local distributor, I try to grab some. This wine is made by a gentleman named John Charles Abitucci, who is a direct descendant of a French Revolution general and hero of the same name, Jean-Charles Abitucci, who is an extremely historic, important figure in Corsica. And this family has had this estate since 1950, and it's located in Ajaccio, which is the capital of Corsica. LouElla here really likes Corsican wines too. This estate is totally biodynamic, and it is certified by Demeter, the sort of major European certification body for biodynamic viticulture and agriculture. Abitucci is an interesting guy. Some of his less orthodox practices is to play traditional Corsican music to his vines from his tractor, and also to play traditional Corsican music to the barrels that are fermenting and aging in his cellar. This comes from a single Old Vines parcel of Vermentino grape, which is the Corsican name for Vermentino. It is entirely hand-harvested and vinified in stainless steel after a brief cold soak. So there is a tiny bit of skin contact, although this is not an orange skin contact wine. These wines are super complex, very mineral, really unique wines. There's really something about the wines from Corsica, especially the whites, that are unlike wines from any other part of France or any other parts of Europe. It's a producer I really like the wines from, and I was glad I was able to get just a few bottles this year to share with you. Normal price of this retail at LouElla would be $55. For Wine Club members, it is $44. There's not a lot of it around, so if you like it and you want a few more bottles, let me know as soon as possible, and I can try to snag a few more for you. Okay, hope you enjoy it. Okay, the next wine in your August 2023 four-pack is a new one to me that I recently tasted for the first time. This is the 2022 Onward Malvasia Bianco Cap in Ranch. Cap in Ranch is a vineyard originally planted in 1995 by the Cap family, and it is located in Suisun Valley, which lies just to the east of Napa. Onward Wines is the project of a winemaker named Faith Armstrong, originally from a very rural part of Canada, and apparently in order to go to school every day as a child, she had to take a small rowboat to where the school was, and the name of the rowboat was the Onward. So when she started her winemaking project, she decided to name it after this rowboat, which captured the spirit to her of travel, going to new places, and learning, of course, and adventure. This wine is a skin contact fermented wine, but it's not a very orange wine, and it doesn't have those sort of funky oxidized qualities of a lot of orange wines have. A little bit of that, but not very much. It is very pure of the aromas and flavors of Malvasia, which are quite bright, melon, very floral. When you smell this wine, you may think you're about to drink a wine that's much fruitier and sweeter than it actually is. It is quite dry, but beautiful and refreshing. Onward is a great example of really the hippest stuff that's going on in California today. All the young winemakers that are really doing interesting things in California, of course, don't own their own vineyards. It's way too expensive. Not everybody can be blessed to be a Mondavi and inherit millions and millions of dollars in the best vineyard sites in California. So Faith Armstrong is forming relationships with farmers that she likes that are especially working with varieties that are less common for California wines, in this case, Malvasia. I thought this wine was terrific. It's a great summertime wine. Fantastic if you're looking for something to have just out on the porch, staying cool on a hot evening. Doesn't have to go with food in order to really show well. But if you want to have it with food, I would have it with something a little bit highly seasoned. Not necessarily hot and spicy, but with a lot of flavor to it, because that Malvasia is a wine that's really great at cleansing the palate in between bites of highly seasoned foods. Regular retail on this is $45. Wine Club members, you're going to get it this month for $36. Very, very little of it available in North Carolina, so if you want some more, let me know ASAP, and I'll get you a few more bottles. All right, enjoy it. So when it's this hot outside, but you really want a red wine, or you're having something for dinner that really calls for a red, what do you do? How do you pick a red perfect for summer? Well, I always look to reds during summer that come from more northerly regions and especially high elevation regions. And that is the case with your next wine in your August set, the 2019 Donas Valdosta Classico. So Valdosta is in the far northwest of Italy, north of the Piedmont region, and up into the very high elevation foothills of the Alps. These vineyards here, where this wine comes from in Valdosta, are between 1,300 and 1,700 feet above sea level. So very, very high up there. And we're talking, even during the summer, much, much cooler temperatures, especially at night. This wine is comprised of primarily Nebbiolo, which is a grape famous for making Barolo, Barbaresco, wines that aren't necessarily big, but are structured and tannic. But up here in the high elevation of Valdosta, they're much brighter, juicier, and lighter on their feet. There's also 10% blended in of two other grapes, Fresa and Neiret, local northern Italian varieties that are kind of brighter fruit, less tannic, brings a lightness to the blend. This comes from a co-op winery, farming a collective 23 hectare of vines and has 20 different farmer members. Now, to some people, the co-op is sort of a dirty word in wine because for years, a lot of co-op wines weren't very good. The thing is, here in an area like Valdosta, where your average farmer just has a hectare or so to their name, they could never make a go of it as an estate bottling winery. They just don't have enough vines. So they have to work collectively with their neighbors to kind of take all their fruit together, bring it to a single winemaking facility, and have a wine made that they could all get paid for. It makes total sense, and when it's great quality fruit from a small amount of farmers, you can get a really spectacular wine like this wine. This is from the cooperative of Donas. This wine spends 24 months aging in large Slavonian oak, so it's big barrels and old used barrels, so there isn't any oak flavor in the wine. The wine just gets the opportunity to breathe and soften up and get a little fleshier aging in those large Slavonian oak barrels. And it is bottled unfiltered, so it has a wonderful sort of rustic texture, but the fruit is very, very pure, bright cherry with good acidity. So there's a nice blend of sort of rusticity and refinement to this wine. This is a great wine to have with charcuterie plate and hard cheeses and bread, maybe before dinner. I would have it with pasta and a red sauce that wasn't too heavy, maybe a pasta just with some fresh tomatoes from your garden. Great summertime red. Put it in the refrigerator for 30 to 40 minutes before you're going to drink it if you'd like. It chills really, really well. So the Donas Valdosta Classico, normally $42 on the shelf, $33.60 for Wine Club members in August. If you want to get some more bottles, let me know. Cheers. The final wine in your 4-pack for August of 2023 requires a little bit of a superstar winemaker alert. I should have a sound effect for that. This is the 2018 Roche Neuve Samour Champagny Terre Chaude from winemaker Thierry Germain. Samour Champagny is a village in the central Loire Valley which over the last 10 to 15 years has really attracted the attention of a lot of serious Loire Valley collectors. Mostly it came from the focus on a specific estate, Clos Rougeard, which is sort of the leading estate in the region, and their winemaker, Nadi Foucault, has become sort of the godfather of Saumur-Champagny, and many, many winemakers who have recently come to the region have gone to him for guidance and advice, as is the case with Thierry Germain, a winemaker who came originally from Bordeaux to this region of Saumur-Champagny in 1990, and immediately came under the wing of Nadi Foucault at Clos Rougeard. Not to date myself, but I remember when these wines were first coming into the US market about 20 years ago. Nobody had ever heard of them. They were quite good, but they were relatively inexpensive and collectors weren't clamoring for them. Today, that's not quite the same situation. The wines here in Saumur-Champagny, the reds, are 100% Cabernet Franc, as are most of the red wines from this part of the Central Loire, and they are planted to clay and limestone soils. And those of you who have been watching these videos and hearing me talk about wine for a while know that clay and limestone is often the secret ingredient to great wine. Limestone gives wine a wonderful mineral structural backbone, and clay gives wine sort of a rich, plump, fruity quality. So you get that wonderful balance between the two sort of components of great wine. Thierry Germain works completely organically in his vineyards. And these vines are fairly old. They're about 45-year-old on average Cabernet Franc vines. The fermentation here occurs in cement tanks for about 18 to 22 days. And then the wine is aged in neutral oak casks for about a year. All of this fruit comes from a single vineyard, or as the French would say, lieu-dit, called Pouilleux, which is located in the village of Chassé. Now, for example, Clos Rougeard's bottling of Pouilleux now retails, if you can get any, for several $100s a bottle. Thierry Germain's wines are highly sought after and collected, but they haven't quite reached that level of cost yet. This bottle normally would be on the shelf at LouElla for $47. For club members, $37.60 through the end of August. I know the distributor only had a few bottles of this, which I snagged for the members this month. So if you taste this and like it and want some more, let me know as soon as possible. This is a wine that's drinking beautifully right now, but you could put it in your cellar if you have one and age it for, I'd say, another 5 to 6 years easily, if not slightly longer. So that's it for August. I hope you're enjoying the club, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your summer, and I look forward to talking to you again in September. Take care.